Hi, Erik Linask here, coming to you from Comtel in Las Vegas. I'm chatting now with Flavio Gomes from LogiSense. Flavio, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Erik.
Good
to see you again.
Thank you, likewise. So when we last chatted, we talked about a recent customer win, and I understand that you've got another one to announce today.
Yeah, we talked about PBX Exchange, which is a new customer based out of Florida, and we've also just announced yesterday, in fact, Vibe Communications out of the UK. And they're a wholesale provider of telephony, broadband communications, and data consumption. And the great thing about Vibe is they are also a customer of the BroadWorks platform from BroadSoft. And BroadSoft offers two flavors of their application server, the M6 and the BroadWorks platform. And the M6 was acquired by Genband. Vibe chose us as a result of us having dual integrations with the M6 platform and the BroadWorks platform to give them a nice seamless transition when they're ready to go to the BroadWorks platform in the future. So that's exciting news for us, and that's one of many that we'll be releasing in the next couple of months in terms of some new customer wins. So we're really excited about the tailwind that we've got right now in the marketplace.
So what's driving that the new customer acquisition?
Well, I think from our perspective, they need much more advanced control over their billing, provisioning, and mediation capability. I think there's a lot of swivel chair operations still in the industry. I think there's a lot of different siloed types of business platforms out there that are being used to manage their operation, but not effectively. They're not really communicating effectively. LogiSense provides a one-stop shop from A to B in terms of billing, provisioning, activation, service mediation, ticketing, etc. So we like to view ourselves as a very advanced web-based provider of billing and OSS capability in a platform that's easy to use and easy to deploy. We also offer a number of different business models to make it easy for them to choose LogiSense as a vendor. We do a monthly sort of rate for them to get on board. So I think they're really attracted to how LogiSense does business, the quality of our technology and our platform, and our professional services team.
I know one of the models that you're really keen on is a usage-based model.
That's right.
Why? Why do you see it as being so important?
Well, I mean, I think AT&T recently announcing that they're going to try to do some usage-based consumption has really got the market listening. There's some interesting new developments that are happening there. We don't exactly know what the business model is going to be. But what we can do is provide the operator with a very seamless usage-based and rating system that makes it easy for them to come up with personalization and different types of models that suit consumption needs of the end user. I think, we can't get away from a usage-based environment. I think we're at the threshold of that happening now. We strongly believe that over the next several years we are going to move in a usage-based model. I think it's a great opportunity for operators to reposition their branding. I think it's a great opportunity for them to capture more revenue in the marketplace where the content providers have really been subsidized on that issue. Again, it's very early, but it's been around for a while, and there's a couple organizations that have tried to deploy usage-based consumption, or at least test the market. Time Warner was one of them. I think they did that for about 6 months. I'm really not certain how that worked out for them, but I'm sure they learned a lot, and now AT&T is getting into the fray. Usage-based consumption now has really been driven by video, obviously. Video has overtaken peer-to-peer traffic as a key driver to the consumption of video. And then, HD video obviously is just incrementally increasing the amount of bandwidth that's being consumed. And I think, if I stand on my tippy toes and I look 50,000-foot view, 3D video, I mean, that's going to triple the amount of bandwidth that's going to be required in order to deliver that experience. The consumers used to downloading now Blu-ray type of movies. You've got the Netflix service.
Sure.
And I think operators are really struggling with how to maximize their return on investment, keep the consumer happy, and be fair across the board. If they start using a usage-based consumption, the concern is the consumer is going to revolt. But who really is going to revolt? It's going to be those who really consume a lot of bandwidth without paying a fair and appropriate price for it. So again, I can't say what those models are going to be. What I can say though is LogiSense has the technology to help the operator facilitate what types of business models and pricing models that they want to see happen in the marketplace easily without a lot of headache.
Is there a market segment driving the case for usage-based more than gaming? And especially when you talk about, you mentioned 3D, that's starting to come into the gaming world as well.
Sure.
There's so much online gaming activity going on.
Well, I have to go back again to video being the key driver. The quality of video is much better than what it was.
True.
And even YouTube now offers an HD capable environment, so you can download HD quality movies. And I can only reference back to the statistic now that's being released that video is overtaking peer-to-peer, which is quite a phenomenal number, quite a phenomenal piece of information. And then where's the future going? Again, I've got to bring this back to video because it's the biggest consumption of bandwidth and the biggest driver of bandwidth consumption. 3D, obviously, that's going to add some new stuff to it. That's where I'm seeing most of the key drivers. I think gaming obviously is an important aspect, and they're both, it has much more bandwidth consumption than say, just regular web surfing and email and all those other types of services. To go back into terms of how the operator is going to charge for that type of stuff, I mean, there's going to be a number of different types of models that are out there. I think they can really take a look at it as a general blanket of just paying by time or paying by how much usage that you get on a monthly basis. With LogiSense's technology and where we see things happening, being more personal and getting a bit more granular, where they can start to provide usage-based metering for different types of bandwidth that's being consumed. Obviously, video I think will be the key driver there, but emails and various other methods of how people use the internet might be free. So again, it's still up in the air in terms of how they're going to move it. I'm strong believer and strong supporter that it will be moving into a usage-based component, but exactly what that's going to be, I'm not certain.
So you mentioned AT&T announcing that they are going to test the waters. On the other hand, you had Verizon who announced just the opposite. Is that a mistake for Verizon?
I don't think so. I think Verizon's just not ready for it yet. I think they want to see how the market reacts. I think they're also looking at it from a short-term, branding perspective. Maybe they'll attract new customers in the short term that will come over to their network. I really do believe it's a temporary issue. I think they're going to have to be forced to do so as well. It's just, there's just so much, the network's being taxed. And they've got to find ways to drive more revenue. They've got to find ways to drive more profitable revenue. They've got to find ways to keep the consumer happy, and they've got to find ways to deliver more personalized service based on consumption habits of various different user groups. I start thinking that once the big guys start to really get involved and find models that work, you're going to start to see the other ones follow.
What impact, if any, from your perspective, does AT&T's acquisition of T-Mobile have?
From our viewpoint, it's hopefully it won't stagnate the competitive landscape. I think right now what it does is give me insight in terms of how saturated the marketplace really is. I think you're going to start seeing more M&A activity. I think obviously they're getting more spectrum, they're buying more spectrum. I think the M&A is going to start to trigger other operators looking at other companies to swallow and to try to be more competitive with the AT&T acquisition.
What can we look forward to from LogiSense in the coming months?
Well, we're constantly innovating, we're constantly driving. I think some of the big news stories in the next 6 months will be a whole new group of new customers that are on board taking advantage of our technology, both in the telephony space, both in the broadband data space. Usage-based consumption is going to be something that you're going to be hearing from us. We've got a couple customers that we'll be announcing on that front as well. And we're growing quite rapidly. So we're really excited about where we're headed.
Excellent. Well, I certainly look forward to talking more as some of those things roll out. We've been talking here at Comptel Las Vegas 2011 with Flavio Gomes from LogiSense. Flavio, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Take care.